There are fresh concerns for US President Joe Biden today after he was captured looking confused and needing assistance with basic direction during his visit to Angola. The President of Angola was forced to direct Joe Biden whilst walking and then seemed to take his arm to stop him from tripping up a step. This commentator said, WTF, why is Joe Biden being manhandled like a child by the President of Angola? This is beyond embarrassing. This commentator agreed, saying because he's totally and completely spent. He's not even a puppet anymore. He's a shell, a husk, basically a living zombie. And Biden's confusion was only the cherry on top of what turned out to be a very controversial visit to Angola. The president was slammed after announcing a massive $1 billion funding support package for displaced Africans following natural disasters.
You know, that's the right thing for the wealthiest nation in the world to do. And today, I'm announcing over $1 billion in new humanitarian support for Africans displaced from homes by historic droughts and food insecurity. We know African leaders and citizens are seeking more than just aid. You seek investment. So the United States is expanding our relationship all across Africa, from assistance to aid, investment to trade, moving from patrons to partners to help bridge the infrastructure gap. I was told, by the way, when I got elected, I could never get an infrastructure bill passed.
Commentators slammed this cash splash, particularly in light of local citizens who continue to struggle after natural disasters in the US. This commentator said, breaking, Joe Biden just announced a $1 billion aid package for African nations that are rebuilding from natural disasters. What about North Carolina? This is disgusting. This commentator agreed, saying North Carolinians are still struggling to recover from a deadly flood and don't have the resources they need yet. Joe Biden just traveled to Africa and pledged over $1 billion to help Africans hit by floods rebuild. I can't believe this is real. This is just the latest in a bad week for Joe Biden, who is still reeling from being blasted by both sides after the incredible decision to pardon his son Hunter from his criminal convictions.
Joe Biden has not only pardoned his son, this is the most comprehensive, far-reaching pardon I think we've seen. Joe Biden signed a full and unconditional pardon for Hunter, covering all offences against the United States which he has committed or may have committed or taken part in during the period from January 1, 2014 through to December 1, 2024, including but not limited to all offences charged or prosecuted. The scope of this pardon is enormous, Josh.
Rita, the scope is so enormous and indeed is so unprecedented, truly unprecedented. I've actually spent a lot of time trying to think over these past 36 hours or so as to whether or not there is anything remotely resembling a clear precedent for a pardon this sweeping, and honestly, I come up blank. I mean, this is the kind of language that you put into a pardon that I think back to my time in law school here in the United States. I mean, if I were a constitutional law professor, I would literally put a pardon like this on a first-year law student exam to try to question the students as to whether something like this is even permissible, as to whether it's even constitutional in the first place. The short answer is that it is, unfortunately, because the pardon power is truly plenary. But the point is that there's no precedent for this. I mean, this has not happened to my knowledge any time in recent history or in history at all, let alone to actually do so to one's son, to one's literal next of kin. I mean, I'm somewhat flabbergasted, Reed. I really don't necessarily have words for this.
Commentator Megyn Kelly doubled down on this, blasting Joe and Hunter Biden for their extreme privilege.
You, Joe Biden, and your sob story about your rich, spoiled presidential kid, Hunter Biden, and how he's been singled out, because I know I speak for millions of people who have an addict in their family who did something they're not proud of, who could never get out from under it. We have no sympathy for you, Hunter Biden, and even less for you, Joe Biden, because you enabled all of it.